Hello everybody and welcome back to The Brink as we come to you for episode 55 of the rebooted podcast, December 11, 2011. 2011? It's 2017, Ben. Why did I just all of a sudden get stuck in the year of 6 years ago? And I said December. I don't know if I sound like I said September, but whatever, we're here. It's December the 11th, 2017, at least the day of releasing this. And another big episode for you, as often is the case. Plenty to bring you along the way. It's Star Wars week. Are you excited for Star Wars The Last Jedi? I know I am. Got midnight tickets ready to go with Noah. Sure, you'll probably hear a little bit of a snippet of that kind of on next week's show. Obviously, we're going to kind of do some stuff for the Oz Network, but happy Star Wars week for the latest Star Wars film to come out. And a big happy week to all those who listen during the week. Our Austrian and Cook Islands listeners, they're back on the bandwagon. And as always, I'm going to take this opportunity. Guys, you're listening every week. We want to hear from you. So by all means, please send us a message. We'd appreciate the feedback. We'd appreciate to let us know, that makes more sense, what you think of the show. Probably think it's pretty rubbish this week, considering that I keep stuffing up everything. But, yeah, we appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate you getting ready to have a pretty exciting darn show. We're that point of the show where we've got to get a little bit Kiwi and go a bit New Zealand. I do, of course, speak of us talking to Nick Chester from New Zealand, and he's on the line now. Hello, Nick. Welcome back to The Brink.
It's always a pleasure. I think I say that every week, but it genuinely is.
The one week you might say, I'm not really a pleasure this week, Ben. You're kind of forcing me to do this, and I don't really want to.
No.
But
no, I'm not pleasured.
Not pleasured. What's been going down in New Zealand town across the week?
Well, I had a couple of things, actually. One I gave you a heads up on before, but the other one I thought I'd spring on you because it's more fun that way. So you might remember when we first started talking, we talked about, you need to try LMP, which is like the kind of unofficial drink of New Zealand. It's like a lemony kind of soft drink, and you were unimpressed. You drank it and you said it tastes like nothing. And then we went to Pyro, where it kind of originated from in New Zealand. And you had one from the source, didn't you? What did you have? You had an LMP shake.
I had a milkshake, which was pretty decent, and then I think I fell in love with those little chocolates that you hated as well.
Oh, the pineapple lumps.
No, the white chocolate with like the popping candy or whatever, and it was.
Oh, right, that's right. Yeah. I was just remembering that you had the jelly tip when we stopped at Pakatiti Bay.
The best thing ever. Like, I never thought I'd leave New Zealand and want to go back, but, like, seriously, I dream about that ice cream. And that dip. You had a dip in your... Like, we got, like, some flavoured of dip, which I cannot find here in Australia. It was so good. Anyway, sorry.
No. Well, while we're on that track, we have actually got a limited edition release here in New Zealand at the moment. We have the Fruju ice blocks, which are kind of like, fruit ice blocks, like, pineapple. There's an orange one, and they brought out an LMP flavoured one.
Oh.
And I've been thinking, I've got to try this, but I thought I might actually just try it. I bought one. I thought I might just try it on air.
On air, wow. Okay.
Instant reaction. So I've got one in front of me, so I'm just going to take a bite and tell you what I think. So bear with me one moment.
I don't think we've ever done this before. Live taste testing on the show is something we've never done before.
It's not bad. I would say it probably matches up with what you originally thought, that it kind of, in frozen form, it tastes like nothing, but I'm going to have another bite, so it can't be too bad.
All right, he's going in for another one here. I did have my first ever sip of LMP after buying it in Ross. Not Ross, sorry, Campbelltown here in Tasmania. There's a lolly shop where they sell like shit from around the world and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I would give that probably a solid 6 out of 10. It's probably going to make you feel good on a hot day. How many out of 10? Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I went with 6. I knew you'd like it. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, glad we've done that.
So there you go. So you've learned something today. Maybe not. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is this great little Facebook page that I stumbled across recently, and it's kind of blowing up now. So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about it. So if you want to go and check it out yourself, it's called Shit Towns of New Zealand.
Shit Towns of New Zealand. Okay, let's get that.
It's basically like somebody going and it's like a comedy satire thing, like just taking the piss out of all the little towns in New Zealand. And so I'm just going to find the Auckland one because there's probably a few listeners who have actually been to Auckland. So they're right up for Auckland. It starts off by saying, a bit of translation for, so Auckland's Maori name is Tamariki Makaurau, the city of 1,000 lovers, but better translation might be a city of 1,000,000 fuckwits. The so-called super city also known as Auckland, Dorkland, Jaffatown, Fuckland, Wankland, Dickland, Shit City, Super Shitty, Wanker City, Asshole City, Big Bag of Dick City, and pretty much any other combination of derogatory words, is a sprawling beige suburban shitropolis built on the top of 50 volcanoes, demonstrating the sort of foresight that has led to twin housing and traffic crises.
Wow. Wow.
So that's a pretty amazing sentence that it started off with there. It's good.
I'm actually looking at here. As you're saying, it's taken off. They've had a post here where they've reached 50,000 followers, and they're saying that they're officially a city because they've got more followers in some towns. But I'm seeing here they've got Shit Town Power Rankings as of, and to date when we're recording this, as of the 3rd of December 2017. So they've got the top 10 here. So number 1 is Huntley, which it says underneath it, Gormless, Grinch's Trash, Santa Float, Ruined Christmas. Okay. Number 2 is Napier, Poo in the Water Again. Number 3, and I'm going to say this properly, is it Whangarei?
Whangarei, yep.
Whangarei, see, I remember the WH. Wastewater Test Show High P Use. Watara, or is it Fatara? Waitara. Gutless Goons, Burgle. I don't get these subtitles underneath it. Tomaranui. Tama. Yep.
Tomaranui. Yep. So what you're reading out underneath, these are actual like newspaper headlines from these cities. So Tomaranui is an interesting one because Tomaranui's got this this job available at the moment. If anyone wants to move there, $150,000 a year. To manage, they've got like this little tourist thing. It's like these little golf buggies that run on the railway line, and they kind of go through the historic part of the town and stuff. And they can't find anyone to do the job. Like they've been advertising since June, and nobody wants to live there because it's so bad.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a no takes 150k job. Christchurch, live stink bugs found after fumigation fail. Auckland, number 7, old house dumped on empty land. Wainemata. Ex-chainsaw assailant sentenced for McNugget rage. Palmerston North, lewd lady convicted for public masturbation. And we've all been there. And Akaroa, creepy kid tries to steal Meghan Markle's undies. Okay. I just thought the fact that the logo for this page is a little turd. And they've written shit down.
But the best part of this page is that they do a comment of the week because they get lots of people who don't realise that this is like a satire page. They think they think that the writers are actually serious. So the latest one on December the 1st is like a comment that somebody's put. It says, "Shit right back to you, whoever you are. Shit on your house. Shit on your area. Shit on you, demoralising, depressive, ignorant, shit slinking punk." And they get this on a regular basis as people just write in and they're like, they actually think it's for real, but. There are some funny stuff on here, like it's somewhere in, where's this, in Dunedin, somebody that went around and swept up all the old cigarette butts and was like scraping out the little bits of nicotine, tobacco out of them and selling them for $15.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Have they done Hamilton yet? Have they done Hamilton's yet?
Oh, they definitely have done Hamilton. I can't find it. I remember it being depressingly accurate when I read it, though.
I found a comment one here. So some of the comments of this week, this is from a few weeks ago. Whoever the shit journalist wrote this is shit at journalism, shit at not getting their facts right, and obviously had a shit time in Twizzle while writing their shit story. Tell us what you really think.
There's a good one here, which is the top 10 signs you live in a shit town. So it's like the Eyesight's visitor centre is listed in the top 10 things to do on TripAdvisor. The most famous person to come to your town is an animal. Your PE teacher was also your maths teacher and your geography teacher. You think vaccinations cause autism, but you also think the sensing murder psychics are actually going to solve a case. You still have a video store. The only tourist to come to your town because there was an error in Google Maps. You voted National, which people won't get. It's a political party. People talked about things that happened in high school like they were yesterday, even though they're going on 48. Your water is contaminated with fecal matter, but you're more worried about the government using fluoride to control your thoughts. And you yell your area code at strangers from passing cars, despite the fact that no one under the age of 70 still has a landline.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, well, there we go. We need to keep an eye on this. I'm going to like this page. This is something I think somebody needs to do here in Tasmania or something like that. I think we could do something on that. But I like their review thing at the top of the page, how they've got like quotes, pretty funny, Frankie Stevens, National Treasure. Offensive, Todd McClay, Rotorua MP. I laugh, it's mostly true, Vaughan Smith, ZM. Not on, Mikey Havoc, 95B FM. Just some of the things that they say, that's funny. One thing actually that I tagged you in during the week was the Air New Zealand have a little video out at the moment for the accents to do with Santa. Did you watch that video? I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but I will.
It's really funny. So it kind of starts off with like, Santa at his desk with his little elf helper sort of there. And he's speaking like Mandarin or, Cantonese, speaking Chinese at the beginning. And he hangs at the phone. And then kind of you see the sign change over to like where the next country is. He's got to get like, requests for gifts from. And it comes up with New Zealand and they're like, oh no. And it's kind of like just him on the phone, and it's like, oh, you want a book of magic trucks, do you? Oh, okay. So we see him like making a book of like trucks flying, like, sort of magic tricks. And then it was like, oh, you would like an airplane. Oh, okay. So you see like a plane with ears on it. And it's just, there's even like, so obviously a kid called Ben rings up and it's like, oh, yeah, so that's a such and such for Ben.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's so funny because then you get like the Air New Zealand like flight attendants come in and they're just like, oh, we'll help you out, Santa. Like, we can understand the accent. Like, the I's are E's are I's, O's are O's, and just like kind of just explaining the accent. It's so funny. I just love the fact that you guys can do that.
Yeah, we clearly don't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, no, it's so well done, but yeah, very good. Just quickly too, the World Cup draw happened. I think you and I are going to talk a lot about this in between now and next year in June. What were your take on who will you go for, Nick? Now that New Zealand's not there, do you give a shit? Will you go for a team?
Well, I'm always a de facto England supporter because of where my family's all from there. So, yeah, if I'm being completely and totally honest, I haven't seen the World Cup draw. I've heard bits and pieces, but I haven't actually seen it. So I knew that England got like a really easy group. They got like, well, they'll get beaten by Belgium, but the other two I think were like Panama and Saudi Arabia maybe or something
Tunisia,
like that.
Panama, and Belgium.
Tunisia.
They're in Group G.
That should be an easy group for them to get through, but this is England we're talking about. So,
well, the interesting thing was that the FIFA World Cup website does a lot of good articles. You follow them on social media, and they did one kind of just showing like how many of these consistent matchups are. Like Argentina and Nigeria, again, they've played like each other 6 times in like the last however many World Cups. But for us, Australia, we've gotten your enemies. We've gotten Peru in our group. We're pretty satisfied because we generally have bad luck in our World Cup draws, at least in the last 3. Like last World Cup, we were just rooted. We had Spain, the Netherlands, and Chile. We were screwed. And then the one before that was Germany, which was bad for me. Ghana and Serbia. And then 2006, we had Japan, Brazil, and Croatia, which we got through. This time around, though, we're pretty satisfied. We've got France is our hard team. But, look, if we can knock off France in the first game, I'll be a very happy boy. But, yeah, we've got Peru, and we've got Denmark. I think that's manageable for us. So
if New Zealand had beaten Peru,
you would have been in our group.
Played it the same way, we would have been in the same group.
Yeah, because that could have been because it's kind of they had all the weird rules about obviously how you can't have the same confederations in the same group unless Europe because they but you couldn't have more than 2 European nations in the one group. But yeah, because we're Asia, you're Oceania, we would have been in the same group.
Yeah. That's crazy, yeah.
How would have that been? But, as, obviously I'm paying a lot of attention to Germany as well. I think Germany's got a fairly difficult group with Mexico, Sweden, and Korea. So, we undersold Sweden, but they knocked out the Italians, so I don't know.
Yeah, and Mexico are kind of on the up as well, but I can't see Germany getting knocked out in the group stages. That would be crazy.
Never happened in the history of the World Cup. Germany's never been eliminated in the group stages. But no team from Group F has ever won the World Cup.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm planning on putting a few dollars on France to win. They're my picks to win it. I think their time, like they either flame out, spectacularly, or they do really, really well. And I think that they must be on course. And they've got such a talented team that if they put it together, I think they've got every chance in the world of winning this thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's kind of who I'm picking. Who did Brazil get? Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia. That's an interesting group.
Yeah, they did. Like some of the groups, I actually haven't sort of read a lot of the reaction in the fact that which is the group of death. And because I think kind of as a lot of people were saying that given we had so many sort of big teams miss out, there's no Chile, there's no Netherlands, Italy, there's no USA, kind of like it opens it up a lot more. So I kind of think they were saying with us, for example, in Australia's group, that if we get through, that we're only going to have to probably play, because Argentina should top Group D, so then we're only going to have to play like Iceland, Croatia, or Nigeria, potentially manageable teams. So they're sort of mentioning, although I guess we would be second, so we would play Argentina, but like hypothetically, we finish on top or Argentina finish second, we could get like an Iceland, and then, slightly manageable. A lot of people here in Australia are kind of very excited about this possibility that we could have a good pass to the quarters. But having said that, we are, I think, the second lowest ranked team in the World Cup, and we kind of don't have a coach at the moment. So our coach quit after we got qualified. So
well, you guys made pretty hard work of the whole qualifying thing. It probably shouldn't have been that hard, but no. It kind of goes out the window when you get to the actual thing, doesn't it? Because you only got to win 2 games, you're into the playoffs, and then anything can happen, really.
We've never played it, bar the exception of 1974, I cannot remember it because I wasn't born, and I think we, from memory, had like both Germany's and frickin' Russia or something like that. But all 3 of our World Cups that I've been alive at least to witness. Obviously, 2006 we played very well because we made it through to the second round and then was robbed by the cheating Italians. 2010 we got thrashed by Germany, but we kind of came very close to going through after drawing with Ghana, and then we beat Serbia. And then last World Cup, even though we were in the group of death, we actually held our own. Like we, got very close to Chile. We kind of should have drawn against the Dutch. And then we kind of got, butt raped by the Spanish, but it didn't really matter at that point because there was a dead rubber. So, we at least gave Spain their only win of the last World Cup. So, if you like the Spanish, there you go. But, it's exciting now, isn't it? Because I guess we kind of have now locked in sort of these groups and everything, so we can kind of talk a little bit more about it, which I'm sure you and I will, sort of in the lead up to June next year.
Yeah, I'll have to have a bit of a more serious think about this. Just looking at the groups, you're right, there isn't really a group of death, but there's lots of groups where there seems like one obvious winner, and then the other 3, it could be any of those, there could be, one of any of those 3 teams that makes it through. So, look at Group D, you'd expect Argentina are probably going to walk through that group, but Iceland, Croatia, Nigeria, I can see all, they're ranked 17th, 22nd, and 50th. That's really nothing in terms of FIFA rankings. That could be anyone. And then you look at Group A, and their rankings are like 65, 63, 31, 21. That's crazy to have all of them in one group. So, anything is possible. There's no big group that's got absolute superstars in it. But I think it's actually quite an even, and one of the most even kind of draws I've ever seen now that I've actually stopped and looked at it.
And I love the fact that the opening game will be between traditional rivals Russia and Saudi Arabia. Which
can't wait.
Huge game that will be to sell the World Cup in 2018. Don't take away. I like Russia. The Russians, they're listening. They're probably going to attack me, but whatever. Nick, always fun. We'll keep an eye on shit towns of New Zealand and everything else in between. But as always, we appreciate your time on the show, and happy Star Wars week, of course. At least by the time of us releasing it, we can find out your thoughts perhaps in the coming days of what you think of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, no, I look forward to that, and go and get yourself an LMP fruit juice.
At the point of the show, we're going to press a button.
This is like a flashback. This is like a dream.
Flash you back with something from the year 2010. I said 2011 at the top of the show, but for some reason we're going back to 2010, so we're ticking off the best of list from 2010. And if you've probably heard several times, we used to have a segment on the show called the Friday Five, where basically we brought 5 things to you that we thought were kind of appropriate to talk about, and we decided that we would read them out to you every Friday. So this is kind of the best bits of the final 5 that are the Friday 5. I really need to learn how to speak properly here, don't I? From 2010.
5 in the air, let's do it together. 5 to the side, who cares about the weather?
The Friday 5. You're bobbing your little head there, Anthony, weren't you?
I was. I did like that song.
You're getting down to the, you're getting to the music. 5 reasons Australia should declare war on Justin Bieber. Now, this is breaking news, Anthony, because these are 5 reasons why they should. And you agree with every one of them because you're paying attention.
I do pay attention, Ben.
Are you ready to listen to them?
I am, Ben. Let's go.
Number 1. Anybody with a helmet haircut shouldn't be allowed to roam the streets freely.
I don't mind. He does suit the helmet.
Number 2. He caused a disturbance amongst Australian teenage girls, which just isn't cricket. That's funny, Anthony. You've got to laugh.
Yeah, that's why I laugh.
You know what we don't have?
What?
We don't have those sound effects. We're meant to have those sound effects for like when people get those answers right or wrong in the quiz, but we don't have. I'm suing. Number 3. His voice is worse for airplanes than the Icelandic volcano. Can you pronounce that volcano, Anthony? It was Ambassador of the Week last week.
Where was it?
I'll get it for you in just a second. Number 4. Do we really need a reason? He declared war on Iraq without one.
Who wrote this?
The Friday 5 crew. And number 5, the 5th reason why Australia should declare war on this segment, on Justin Bieber, is because along with Grey's Anatomy, he's the biggest threat to human existence. Oh, no, you didn't!
Oh, but you can't do an American. You can't do American.
You saved yourself a lawsuit then. The Friday 5 this week is 5 things that cost the Socceroos. These are the 5 reasons, as my pen gets thrown, the reasons why Socceroos did not make it through to the round of 16 at the World Cup. Number 1, Pim Verbeek. Yes. Number 2, Roberto Rossetti. He was the Italian referee in the match against Ghana last Saturday. Hopeful, pitiful effort.
What's number 3?
Pim Verbeek!
He's back.
He's back. He's back with a vengeance. He's Verbeek? No, didn't
They're
work.
calling him minibus, aren't they?
I don't know, are they?
He's half a coach. Oh, there you go. There's some
One
for the book. There's some wit for you this
That
morning.
book is getting full this morning. The writers really need to be in contact. Number 4, Tim Cahill. Why is he on the list? He kind of put a goal in the net. Maybe getting red carded against Germany. Who knows? Anyway.
Should have been there.
Then number 5,
Drum roll.
Pim Verbeek. It's hilarious, isn't
It's a bit of a letdown, really. Didn't build the tension or anything.
Aussie Pim.
Aussie Pim. Oh, look, they've started again. He's no Goose, you know. Everybody loved Goose. Aussie Goose had the T-shirts made and everything like that, and there's none of that. It's the opposite, you know. They want to send him shipped.
Well, people have been counting down to the day that he leaves from before the World Cup.
He's not a very exciting person when you see him.
We're off
interviews,
Pim, aren't we?
either.
A good. You obviously sound like you're a bit of a student of the game. A good coach, is that hard to find? Can't we? Like they got that Australian guy that's been around. He was the temporary coach.
Yeah. He was.
Surely, isn't there a young sort of prodigy coming through the coaching ranks?
I would go out on a limb and say someone like Craig Foster, the SBS guy, does it with Les Murray. He's a very intelligent man, and I think he would know what he's doing a little bit more than somebody like that. You have no idea who we're talking about.
I know who Craig Foster is, just because I've seen him on SBS.
Friday 5. Okay, 5 reasons to get excited about me going away. Now, look, I don't think this is very nice. I'm going to have words to the Friday 5 crew about this. I bet you wrote this, Anthony Moran.
I probably
Facebook
did.
off, eyes to me.
My eyes are all over you, Ben. All over you.
By the way, I'll be in Melton the first of the... Oh, look, he's switched out of his Facebook. How convenient. These are 5 reasons to get excited about me going away. Number 1, there'll be no Ben in Australia for a month. That's not nice. Number 2, the Brink gets the spread around the world. Well, it already does anyway. It's a disease. You've got to go to the doctor to get it checked out.
That's what I've got right now.
Yeah, I heard about that, actually. I heard about that from those various people.
Brinkitis.
Yes. Oh, look, it's Brinkalicious warts. Number 3, that suspicious odour won't be around anymore. Sorry about that.
Yes.
I have a problem.
Yes, you do.
But, you know, I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow. Number 4, the 4th reason to get excited about me going away. Anthony won't not show up anymore, at least for a month anyway. Oh, that's lovely. I like that one. And the 5th reason to get excited about me going away, there isn't really any more exciting... What? There isn't really any more, but just those 4, because we know you'll miss Ben. What? Clearly, as you can tell, my inability to speak hasn't necessarily just been a new thing recently. Been a couple of weeks since I've been able to press this button. What does Dakoda say? Oh, what does Dakoda say? Because Dakoda Leary's with me. Hello, Dakoda.
Hello. Is there an actual thing for me?
Well, you listen to the show every week, Dakoda. You tell me.
Yeah.
Avid listener of the Brink, subscriber, I see.
definitely, yeah.
Well, let's just say no, there isn't. So you'll have to listen to
Okay,
see if I'm telling
alright.
the truth or not.
I'm gonna have to then, won't I?
Yes, but I know you won't. But anyway, how's it going? What's
How's it
been
going?
cracking?
Not.
Not a lot. Yep.
Oh, that's interesting.
Cool. All right, Dakota Leary, everyone. Thanks for joining us. You didn't win.
Hold on, no, I'm just.
Oh, hang on. Well,
I've
you
just-
say first.
I've discovered something
You've discovered something.
on phone. Yeah,
Yeah. What have you discovered? That you can talk on it?
that's
or
weird.
something?
I don't. This is obviously like a fault or something. But if I put my phone, or if I put my hand over the phone, if I put a finger over
Right.
the camera on my phone,
Yeah.
the whole screen goes black.
Yeah, because there's a sensor in it, which is kind of when you put it to your ear so that you don't press any of your buttons on screen. Yeah. Yep. There's like
Yeah,
a
then now I feel a bit dumb.
Yeah, probably. You're meant to be like a
Thanks.
millennial or something, so you're meant to know these
Yeah.
things, not me. But
Yes.
you know,
Bugger. I
yeah.
thought my phone was faulty.
No, it's a sensor. You didn't win. You're not the Australian of the Year for Tasmania.
I didn't win. Some bloody dentist one.
Well, it wasn't the one that I thought was going to win.
Which one did? Yeah, the refugee.
I thought the refugee person was going to win, but it wasn't it the Aboriginal
Yeah.
dentist or something?
Yep, some just dentist.
Cool.
Some 29-year-old dentist.
Look, I tell you what, Dakota. Like, get yourself nominated again, and like your story was great. You know, like thoroughly deserved. But like, go into it and say, as an Aboriginal, Dakota did this, and then you'll have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's where you went wrong.
Dakota moved here from Syria.
Yes, war-torn Syria.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after
Dakota
battling
has-
battling through Manus Island.
Yeah. Dakota has suffered with the loss of one of his arms, one of his legs, and his entire brainstem. But this hasn't stopped Dakota achieving his goals.
He was cruelly spoiled of season 4 of Game of Thrones, but he did not let this affect his life. He went and binge-watched it quickly enough that it didn't ruin his chances of enjoying it.
The red wedding scarred him like to all ends, but he didn't let this affect his schoolwork, and his youth has commitment.
Did you at least have an enjoyable evening at the awards ceremony?
I couldn't even drink.
Why?
I had to drive.
Oh, boo!
I know.
Who'd you go with? Who was your date?
My left hand.
Oh, so you went by yourself?
Yeah.
Where's your girlfriend?
I don't know where she was. She was doing something else.
Wow, you two are close.
Yeah, evidently.
I love that. Where's your girlfriend? I don't know. Doing something else? Oh, it's love. It's true love.
Definitely.
In 2017. But I guess did you say you were running for council for Glenorchy or not anymore? or?
Not anymore.
Oh, just because you thought you would be unfairly gonna win or something like that, or?
No, it's because I'm not an Aboriginal.
Oh, of course.
No, it costs too much money to do a campaign.
How much does it cost?
Like excess of like $8,000.
Jeez, well you've got that, don't you? You're rich, aren't you?
I don't have $8,000.
Well, that's a bit of a shame. Couldn't you have like campaigned and gotten some of these like people out there? I'm sure Harmez would have given you a bit of money.
Probably could have, but I haven't. So
No, all right. Well, it's kind of
Yeah.
This is the thing. If people had given us dim sims all these years ago, we could have like raised funds for you or something. I don't know how that ties
I know,
into
right?
dim
Yeah.
sims, but you
it's
said
all
to,
about the dim sims.
yeah, it's always about the dim sims. You said to me when I said to you
Did I?
before I press record, well, you're about to hear what you said. I said, "What do you want to talk about?" And you said we could talk about the Marvel movies. So, let's talk about them. What do you want to talk about? The Marvel movies.
Well, I just noticed in your Facebook that you'd seen them all
Finally,
recently,
yep,
and ranked them all.
yeah. Are you a Marvel fan, Dakota?
I am a huge Marvel.
Oh, not just a fan. You're a
Yeah.
huge. Whoa,
huge
shit
Marvel
got real.
fan, yeah.
All right. So, what did
Yeah.
you think of my my rankings then?
I thought, and I'll just get them up actually.
Well,
I will
Viagra
get them up.
helps there, but I'm surprised you got more than one. But okay. That was a bad joke. Move on.
Yep, it was. I think they are inaccurate.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Give me what are some of the standouts there for you that think are inaccurate?
Well, I think Thor Ragnarok should be much higher.
Really?
You've only got it 10.
Yeah, but I only saw that last night at the time of recording this.
I didn't enjoy Ant-Man.
Really? Ant-Man was awesome.
I liked it, but I thought I'd put Doctor Strange as my number one.
Yeah, well, I was tossing and turning between maybe swimming, because I really enjoyed Doctor Strange, but I don't know. I think I love Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, all those sort of Mads Mikkelsen. I love all the cast, but I think kind of what won Ant-Man over for me is I just love Paul Rudd too much, and Evangeline Lilly's in it, Michael Douglas, Bobby Cannavale. The cast is so good, and it's just fun. Like, it reminded me so much of kind of like early 2000s origin comic book movies, like the original Spider-Man, like kind of just like, and it like, I know there are tie-ins in it, but like, I guess kind of what also took me away a lot with Ant-Man and Doctor Strange 2 that I enjoyed is that while there are tie-ins and connections to the other movies, they don't overdo it. And sometimes I feel that they just overdo it too much, and it's kind of, I don't know, that's my opinion.
Okay. And I'd put Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 as 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. So you like 1 better than number 2, or did you like...
I did like 1 better than number 2.
Okay, I like 2 better than 1, but 1 was still brilliant.
I can see that. Then I'd put Thor as number 4.
As in Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, yeah. Then number 5 would be the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 would be the first Thor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. I'm glad there's another person, because like everyone seems to go off on me for that one. Like, Thor's too high. Like, I really like the first Thor.
I like Thor. Thor's my favourite superhero.
Yes,
so
Thor's probably. I didn't really have much of an opinion on Thor, but I don't know. I've come around a lot on him. I really like him.
I don't know whether it's because I like Thor or I just like the way old mate Chris plays him. Yeah,
I've come so much around on Chris Hemsworth. As somebody who watched him on Home and Away and just did not like him, he just, like, I don't know, I've just really come full circle on the guy. I really like him. I can't not like Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
Love Hemsy. Then Civil War would be number 7.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the Iron Man movies until Iron Man 3.
Oh, wow, really? Iron Man 3? Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I found them a bit boring.
Oh, the first Iron Man's a classic. Come on.
Yeah. I hated Hulk.
Oh, God. Wow. I think Hulk's underrated. I can see why people just want to ignore it, because it kind of feels very disjointed from the entire franchise. But I liked Edward Norton as the Hulk, and I kind of wish he had stayed on. Not that I don't like Mark Ruffalo, but I don't know. I just kind of like Edward Norton as the Hulk.
Yeah, fair enough.
One of the few that I saw at the movie. I actually saw the Hulk at the movies, funnily enough.
Yeah. Okay. So, wasn't a fan of the first Captain America.
No, me neither. It was, it was good, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah, it wasn't.
There hasn't been a terrible one. There's none of these films I hate. It's just
there was too much of Steve and not enough of Captain America.
Yeah, I do like Hugo Weaving though. Like, he makes a great villain. So I mean, I'll give him the red skull or whatever he was. He was cool.
Yeah. Thor 2 was shit.
Oh, it was average. It was just like,
Yeah, what is it? The Dark World.
Dark World. Poor old Natalie just got reverted to a damsel in distress.
Yep, basically. Yeah, that's all of them. That's covered it, I think.
See, like, Thor Ragnarok was interesting because, I mean, I'm with you. I really like the character of Thor. Loved the first one. The second one was a bit of a disappointment. And I just kind of, like, I'd heard a lot about it, what the tone and kind of they shifted in that. And, like, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It just felt weird because, like, it just seemed like they'd turned it too much into Guardians of the Galaxy and just went too heavy on the comedy.
It did seem a bit Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's kind of like, and I don't know if you'd get this explanation. It's
even the poster looks a bit Guardians of the Galaxy.
But, like, when I saw Skyfall for the first time, like the James Bond film, like, it's not that I didn't like it. It just didn't feel like a James Bond film to me. It's a great film. It's just, if you watch all the Bond films, it feels so out of place on the Bond canon. But it's still a great film. It's kind of like, this is what I feel kind of like with Ragnarok. It's like, it's a great film. Like, it's funny, it's fun, it's enjoyable. And, the music's great. Like, just the edit, just, it's a fun movie to just pop in and watch. But, like, if you watch this back to back with Thor 1 and 2, you'd feel like you're just watching something completely different. So
yeah, it is. But I think that's just the
they sort of rebooted Thor after, I guess, the second one.
They rebooted the whole kind of Marvel universe, Marvel cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Really, after like Avengers: Age of Ultron. Kind
True.
of came,
Yeah. And it's interesting.
All the
go ahead. Sorry.
Different superheroes are given a bit more personality and stuff, especially Hulk.
I'd like them to do another standalone Hulk film, but there's issues around that because Universal technically own the rights to this standalone, so they only allow him to be used in kind of like co-films. But I think, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Hunt for the Wilder People, which the director Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok, a New Zealand director, he's filmed before that The Hunt for the Wilder People. Very, very popular New Zealand film. It's only about a year old. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And like you feel the style of that film. Like that The Rock sort of New Zealand monster who's kind of like, oh, this is my friend. Oh, he's dead. Oh, no, bro, he's not dead. Like, I mean, he's hilarious. That's so like New Zealand stuff. And like the Jeff Goldblum's the Grandmaster's like that woman who's like his guard. Like she was a cop in, like there's just so many people kind of from that. Yeah. It's a brilliant film, but you can just tell that style that he brought to it. And again, I didn't not like it. It's just, if you're watching this, like, and I binge watch these in close succession, so it kind of feels a little bit out of place in some aspects, but it feels so Guardians to me.
Yeah, how did you watch them? Did you
downloaded them, sort of. I mean, I saw Thor at the movies. I did go and pay to see that.
That's all I need to know.
No, I did own, like, I owned a couple and kind of, I sold all my DVDs, so I ripped some to my computer, but, yeah, for the most part, I downloaded them. Legally or illegally, you decide.
Well, they do need to, bring that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy into the, other ones, because the Guardian's going to be in the next...
well, they're all going to be
Avengers
in Infinity
movie.
War, aren't they? So, like, every single one of them, which... Yeah, I mean, it's... And look, I think kind of what I was saying about Ant-Man and Doctor Strange, like, Guardians, they're both very disjointed. Like, there's really no connections except for the Infinity Stones. And the big bad dude who's going to be the big bad in Infinity War. But it's kind of interesting. It's like, I mean, I'd kind of going into this whole thing to catch up. Like, I'd seen Iron Man, I'd seen the Hulk because I saw that in the movies, and Spider-Man I went and saw last year because I just love Spider-Man. So it's kind of I mean, look, I'm completely honest. I'm more of a DC man still. I thoroughly enjoy all the DC movies, even though they get ripped to shit. I loved Justice League, and you didn't, or
I enjoyed Justice League.
You did? Oh, okay.
That's one of only two DC movies I've actually enjoyed.
In what was the other one? Wonder Woman, probably?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Usually people hate that one the most.
I forgot about Wonder Woman. I liked Wonder Woman.
It's just, I mean, we just covered that on the Oz Network. I just think they're so underrated, and I can get why they get the criticism, especially coming off Marvel movies, but I think kind of what's so great about both the DC and the Marvel sort of extended universes is they're just different. Like... If you want your kind of light, fun, sort of action, sort of movies, go watch the Marvel movies. And, like, they don't make... There's not a bad Marvel movie. And it's kind of... Even the ones that are considered bad are still watchable and enjoyable. Yeah. Whereas, like, the DC ones, like, that's the tone of DC. They're always going to be dark and gritty and try and be more
DC
realistic.
Are a lot more darker. And
I love it. I don't know. I just really like the style. Like, Suicide Squad, like, even their light version, just like, Suicide Squad's just so fun. And the soundtrack's amazing, and just like, I love Will Smith and Margot Robbie, Viola Davis. Like, it's a great cast as well.
I do really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
That's my thing.
I loved, I can't remember his name now, Flash, and Cyborg's awesome. I loved Henry Cavill. Like, I mean, I was kind of indifferent on him as Superman, but I loved him in Justice League. That was his best Superman performance.
I don't like Superman as a character.
Oh, he's my favourite. Superman and Batman are my two favourites. So
Batman's just boring, and Superman's just way too overpowered.
But actually, it's funny. I watched a list recently on YouTube. It was the top 10 most powerful superheroes. Yeah. And who do you think would be number one on that list?
Surely Superman.
And he's like number 9.
Really?
So yeah, according to like, well, this was like they'd ranked it mainly according to like their powers and like the comic books and that. Number 1 was the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four, because he can, like, and it was interesting how they explained it, because they were like, you know, if you read into it, he can, destroy planets and shapeshift, and basically is completely indestructible. And like Doctor Strange is apparently more powerful than Superman, because he too can destroy planets and bend time and kind of what he can do.
Well, the thing I didn't like about Justice League was the end, where it's all like, oh, this guy's so hard to defeat. Oh, here's Superman. Yeah, we've won. Cool.
Which, I mean, yeah, like the one thing is kind of, it's fun to analyze the Justice League, because, at the end of the day, do you need a league? Because Superman's so powerful. I mean, it's at least
when the whole team of bad guys come around, it might be a bit different.
Yeah, like the Injustice League or whatever the tease was at the end.
I don't know what they're called,
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. At least with like the Avengers, you know, you would argue that at least at this point in the cinematic universe, they're kind of evenly. I mean, Thor, I think, is underplayed, because Thor is more powerful than Superman according to this list, because he's a god.
He is after Ragnarok, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of you know, Thor's powers are sort of underutilized, and then, I mean, I like a superhero who kind of has actual powers. Like, I mean, you know I'm saying Ant-Man's my favourite film, and I know Ant-Man has no powers except for the suit. But, like, I mean, that's why I always like Superman over Batman, because Batman's cool. Of course, I get why Batman's so popular, and Batman has the greatest villains in all of comic books. And that's one thing DC does better, is villains, for sure. Like, you look at all 17 of the Marvel films, like, who are the memorable villains? Like, there's just maybe 2 that are, like, decent enough that you would think are cool.
Probably just Loki, to be honest.
Oh, well, Loki's a standout, but I mean, you know, like, I liked Michael Keaton as Vulture. He was kind of cool in Spider-Man.
Yeah. Ultron was a good villain.
He was okay.
Despite not being, like, a human.
I liked Kurt Russell, the fact he was kind of a planet in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But yeah, like, I mean, DC just does villains so much better. I mean, for God's sake, they had a whole movie around villains. That's how good their villains are.
Do villains better,
But like, I mean, Batman's cool, but like, he has no superpowers. Like, I just love that line in Justice League. What's your superpower? I'm rich. You know, like Iron Man, he's got no superpowers. He's just got a suit. You know, things like that. So I appreciate it when, like, they actually have superpowers.
But I think Iron Man's suit's a bit better than Batman's suit.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think kind of, you know, it's different. Like, Iron Man's obviously more flamboyant, playboy, out there in public. He's telling the world who he is.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Bruce Wayne is more sort of reclusive and gritty and kind of, you know, stays in the shadows and kind of that way. So that's kind of the parallel. But, like, it's interesting if you actually analyze each of the universes, kind of, all their superheroes are kind of the same. Like, each has, like, a version of each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Batman and Iron Man are kind of the same character.
Yeah.
You know, like, Wonder Woman and Thor or, you know, Wonder Woman's kind of in between Thor and Captain America in many ways.
Yeah. I'd say Aquaman's a bit more like Thor.
Maybe. That's, interesting. But... You know, it's just fascinating. There's actually a good video, a Watch Mojo video on YouTube, which is like, main differences between DC and Marvel, which is kind of like, it's a very good watch, and it like makes you kind of, you know, think about it. And the one thing actually that is like, I'd never thought about in watching this video, is that Marvel takes place in the real world, as in like, New York and, you know, places that are real, whereas DC, they're all made up places, you know, Metropolis, Gotham, you know, Midway City. Like, I mean, it's obvious when you hear it, but then it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I do really enjoy the whole,
Which, I mean, they each have their pros and cons, because like, Marvel's kind of cool that it's like, it's happening in our world, whereas DC's kind of cool because they've got, you know, creative freedom. They can do what the hell they want with these cities. You know, they're not restricted to what's in the real world. So, I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, like, you're too young, I guess, to kind of remember the initial sort of boom in the early 2000s when all these superhero movies kind of became a thing. Like,
I've never seen the original Batman movie.
Well, I remember. So you were born in '98,
or the
weren't
original
you?
Spider-Man movies.
Oh wow, how you've got to see them. I remember in '98 going to see Batman and Robin. We won a double pass, which is universally regarded as one of the worst superhero movies of all time. It's so campy and over the top and terrible, but it's almost so bad it's fun. But like in the early 2000s, like, you know, when the X-Men movies first started coming out, and then the first Spider-Man, you've got to see that. That's like Spider-Man 1 and 2 in the original sort of ones. I mean, especially Spider-Man 2 is regarded as one of the best films of all time, not even just comic book films. It's a great film.
Yeah.
And I personally prefer Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man over Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield. So that's just a personal preference.
Okay.
But I can see why Tom Holland is so popular, because he's more closely related to the comic book than either Parker, Maguire, or Garfield were.
I haven't actually seen Spider-Man Homecoming yet either, even.
Well, I think if you watch them...
I just don't enjoy Spider-Man as a superhero.
It's interesting, like, they've all got different styles. Like, the Andrew Garfield ones were okay. I didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought that was rubbish. But... I mean, he's okay. I'm not saying he's terrible, but yeah, watch the original trilogy. Spider-Man 3 is often regarded as pretty terrible, although I kind of like Spider-Man 3. But it's just different. It's just a different feel, because like, this is back when superhero movies weren't all connected. They were just their own thing. And, you know, it just makes for a different sort of take on it. And the one thing that I really liked about Tobey Maguire's, and like, I didn't realize this was a thing because I never read the comics, is that in his version of Spider-Man, his web is kind of like, it's when he gets bitten by the spider, it comes out of his wrist, so it's like kind of part of him. Yeah. He doesn't create the web shooter, which is obviously what Peter Parker does. Yeah. So I kind of like that fact that it's part of him and not an artificial creation. So that's just a little thing kind of on it. But the original Spider-Man trilogies are fun. They're really good. Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. I interviewed Willem Dafoe, and he's iconic villain. This is when these superhero movies are great villains as well. So and one that, I mean, I know you don't really like Superman, but I always loved the 2006 Superman Returns, which I kind of can't say this now. 3 months ago I got away with saying this and I was fine, but now I can't. I loved Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. Now I can't say that.
You still can.
Okay, ignoring Kevin Spacey in real life, as a huge fan of his acting...
he's still a good actor,
I loved him as Lex Luthor, so there you go. Oh, who thought a couple of months ago I couldn't live in a world where I could utter the phrase, I love Kevin Spacey?
Well, it's not funny, but one of my friends, his favourite actor was Kevin Spacey.
Look, it's hard, because
and he's like, fuck.
Like, imagine if, like, and this will never happen because the guy is God amongst men, but if this happened against Kevin Bacon all of a sudden, like, holy crap, we're just dead. I just couldn't live.
I was upset about Don Burke, to be honest.
Look,
like, mate, Don Burke.
The difference is with Don Burke and Kevin Spacey is, like, did Don Burke actually touch anyone, or did he just be a bit of a prick? Like, I think there's a difference. Think he was
just a bit of a prick, but yeah.
I mean, look, this is a whole other kettle of fish in terms of talking about this sort of stuff, but, like, you know, like, everything in history is going to come back and bite everybody at some point because, you know, it's just, that's the thing now. Like, in 1998, you commented on my breasts. That's sexual harassment. #MeToo. Like, come on.
Much.
Like,
much.
There's a difference between educating people and just digging up the past to create a thing out of it. Like,
basically, I know.
So Dakota, we're not allowed to say that. We're white males. We're straight white males. We're not allowed to have an opinion. Sorry, guys. We're privileged. We're privileged, everyone. Sorry, not allowed to express an opinion on these issues. I apologise. We'll go back to our non-opinionated worlds.
I don't know about yourself, but I'm a fifth-generation Irishman, so we weren't treated very well in the past.
Well, I'm a. What am I? Third? No. If my grandma's Scottish, what does that make me? Second generational Scottish? First gen? No. Sure. Oh, well, I'm Scottish. Quarter Scottish. There we go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We were treated like shit by the British.
Yeah.
The English.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like 1/8 Swedish. I think like the Norwegians hated us or something. So
where's our Irish rights and where's our Scottish?
What about Tasmanian rights? Huh?
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking A.
Fucking A.
Fucking A.
Fucking A. That's your defense in court. Dakota, why do you wish to defend yourself? Fucking A. Now, I don't know. I'm sure we'll probably get you on before Christmas. But what does Dakota do on Christmas? Let's just imagine we don't get you back on. But like, what do you do?
Generally, nothing.
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 Cool. All right.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a Grinch.
Bit of a Grinch. You just don't like Christmas, or it's just something you just never done, or
It's just a day. It's just
a day to you.
Yeah.
So you'd be the type of person that if you had a job, you would put your hand up to work on Christmas Day.
Probably, yeah. Almost definitely, yeah.
I've worked on Christmas Day. It's terrible. I hated it beyond belief.
Why?
Because I love Christmas. It's like my favourite time of year. Although, like, in the last year or so, it maybe it's become a little bit more difficult for various reasons. But, yeah, 2 years ago I worked Christmas Day when I was at the Mercury, and that was that, like, stinking hot Christmas. It was like 36 degrees. And yeah, it's not fun. It's just not fun working Christmas Day. I mean, if you don't like Christmas, sure, it's fine. Like, who cares? Because you don't like Christmas. Yeah.
We just disconnected for a bit then.
Oh, did we? Oh, well, I was just saying about if you don't like Christmas, it doesn't matter. But I like Christmas, so it matters. So that's my story.
Okay, cool.
You didn't miss much.
Fair enough. I accidentally got out of the messenger app.
Yeah, well, this is you just discovering shit on your phone. Oh, look, I can close things.
Yeah, I didn't know that it would cancel the call, but yeah.
Oh, look, we're just talking about
everything. Ended the call and I had to
Oh, did it? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything here. Well, I mean, again, I legitimately do not know if I will get you on again before the end of the year, just with how our schedules generally work out. But did we talk about Formula One? That ended recently. We can talk about that quickly.
Formula One yet? All right, let's do it.
Sure, this segment's going on forever, but who gives a shit? No one's listening.
Yeah, fucking no, who cares?
2017 Formula One season. You're a happy Lewis Hamilton fan, I guess?
I am a happy Lewis Hamilton fan. Yeah, he won, but yeah, he won.
Are you over him, or are you still into him, or?
No, he's won, like, heaps. And,
yes.
Like, he's still my favourite driver, but, like, it's not really like, Lewis Hamilton won. It's kind of, he won again. Cool.
Yeah, I'm just over it. Like I don't dislike him, but every year I like him less. If that makes sense. So,
yeah.
I just honestly, and it's I guess a controversial opinion because you can't compare periods of time in Formula One because eras are different, cars are different, rules are different, everything's. I understand that theory. I just honestly do not believe his pole position record holds as much weight as some of the other records out there. I just don't. I just can't respect it.
I don't think it maybe holds as much as Michael Schumacher.
Or I'd say even more Senna. I mean, this comes from a Schumacher fan.
Well, a lot of people say that Senna is like such a great driver, but I don't really like. The thing with Senna is that he was always pushing as hard as he could. And so, of course, he'd get, the results.
I just think, I'm not
these other drivers are kind of just like...
Senna raced with his heart. Schumacher kind of built a team around himself. And kind of was... Like, they've all got their elements to it. And, I've never been the hugest Senna fan in terms of what everybody talks about him. But, I mean, after seeing the documentary, you kind of can't not respect the guy. But I guess my point is, it's like... At least with Senna and Schumacher's pole position records, they did it in cars that weren't necessarily the best cars, and they kind of had to fight that. Like, Lewis Hamilton has never not been in a top team. Lewis Hamilton is...
Arguably, the Ferraris of 2000, 2001, 2003, 2004...
Yeah, but I mean, the Ferraris of 96, 97, 98, 99 weren't the best car in the field. The Benetton of 94, 93, 92 wasn't the best car in the field. He got a pole technically in a Mercedes that was taken away because of a stupid penalty he got in the race before, which was not a penalty. Fuck you, Bruno Senna. But yeah, I just like Hamilton has never not been in a top team. He's like, Senna, even Alonso, and I'm not an Alonso fan. He drove for Minardi. I mean, he won races in uncompetitive Renaults. Vettel won a race in a Toro Rosso, which was fucking a Minardi 2 seasons beforehand. Just like these drivers, it's just, I think kind of there's a level here, whereas Hamilton, straight away in a race-winning car, even, he's won races every single year because he's always been in a McLaren and a Mercedes when they've always been challenging for wins. And okay, let's be honest, he made a very smart move to go to Mercedes when he did, when everybody said it was a terrible decision and that he was doing it for money, but clearly it was a brilliant move, so you got to give him props for that.
I don't know. I don't think he really knew what they had in mind for 2024.
I think he did. So. I think he did. He knew the regulations were coming. Yeah, I definitely think, these drivers are smart enough to know what the teams are going to develop in this, that, and everything else. Yeah. But it's kind of, it's it's also the fact that, like, the Mercedes has just been, you know, there's like that ridiculous statistic that, like, they've won, 85 or 90% of races since 2014. Like, even Ferrari wasn't that dominant between 2000 and 2004.
Yeah.
Even Red Bull wasn't that dominant between 2010 and 2013.
Insane, yeah.
It's beyond the joke. And I think kind of there was that statistic that out of all the pole positions since 2014, there's only been like less than 10 that haven't gone to Mercedes or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I can't, if he had stayed at McLaren and kind of fought his way back through and kind of that, then like for sure. And it's, again, I don't dislike the guy. He's a 4-time world champion. You can't take that away from him. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats, but I think Vettel's a better driver, a more complete driver, and will have a better career outlook than Hamilton, just because of what he had to do before he got in a dominant car, and even now showing what he can do in a less than dominant car. And Vettel to me is never appreciated as a driver. So
yeah, he's a very good driver.
Yeah,
I think Bottas is a very good driver.
Agree. Yeah, I mean, I think he's boring, but I appreciate. I don't think he'll. I've kind of gone back thinking he won't win a world championship now.
I think he'll at least win one.
I don't know. Maybe
he'll do like a bit of a Nigel Mansell and just randomly win one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think kind of the way things are going to change in the sport. Hopefully, I honestly feel that Hamilton will go to Ferrari and end his career in Ferrari, which I'd be kind of happy to see.
He said he wants to. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a whisper going around that he'll go there. Maybe Vettel might go to Mercedes.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see Vettel go back to Red Bull.
I don't know. I think Verstappen's locked in that team very much long term.
We'll see Daniel go to Ferrari with Lewis.
I'd love that.
And we'll see Bottas and Esteban Ocon.
I would love
at Mercedes.
I want Ricciardo in a Ferrari just because we got so close twice to having Webber in a Ferrari. I want to see an Australian in a Ferrari in my lifetime. So hopefully, it won't be me, sadly.
And then, Bottas and Ocon in a Mercedes.
Yeah, actually, one thing I want to vent, because like Ocon, I didn't really, wasn't a big fan, but he came around on him because I always thought Verline should have gotten that seat. I want to say hashtag poor Verline and hashtag fuck you Marcus Ericsson, the biggest waste of space in Formula One history.
You know what it is?
Money.
It's because he's Swedish.
No, it's because he's rich. He's loaded. His dad or whoever it is.
And Swedish team.
But they're not Swedish. They're Swiss. So that's where you're getting it wrong. But
shit.
I can understand how Leclerc, whatever his name is coming in, but Ericsson's so shit. Like he's such a rubbish driver, and
you know what's weird?
Everything about the decision to keep Ericsson.
The Toro Rosso team for next year.
Hartley and Gasly. I kind of like it. I'm glad there's a Kiwi in the sport. Like, I don't know.
So fucking random.
It is random. He's not very good. I feel sorry for Kvyat. Like, I think Kvyat was just tossed aside randomly. And poor Kvyat.
Kvyat was decent, yeah.
But, I mean, are you hoping for a Kubica Williams drive? I am.
Sort of.
I've never been the biggest Kubica fan. I always thought he was a little bit overrated, to be honest, but I'd be a great story to see him come back.
And Stroll will be interesting. Yeah.
I love Stroll. He's my man.
Yeah, I like Stroll as well.
But I just like DeResta's boring. I'm just never been,
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Paul DeResta either.
I think they want Kubica. I think they're just trying to prove that he can do a season and kind of be on the pace. I think they know DeResta can be. I think they just, at least with Kubica, because they know the PR around it. They know just how well the storyline around Kubica coming back into the sport. So I think that he's their first preference, but I think kind of the stories that have come out in the last couple of days about how maybe he's struggling a little bit for pace is kind of like, will they risk it or not? I mean, but Williams are a team that have famously risked before. I mean, Jenson Button, I remember in 2000, the controversy around hiring him, that was like, wow. Like, I
reckon they can.
Between him and Kimi Raikkonen in 2001, I mean, you would have been way too young to be around to even remember that. But yeah, Button was such a controversial choice. But then Raikkonen, I remember in F1 Racing, they had this big article, like, Sauber hire a guy who's only raced in like 20 car races before. And then first Grand Prix comes out, gets 6th place, and within a year he's on the podium. And like, then, You know, good old Kimmy.
I reckon Williams can afford to gamble with Kubica.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
what have they got to lose? They're not that competitive.
They're not front running.
Yeah.
They're kind of in the midfield, and they've got, they're basically almost on par with Force India, so they haven't really got anything to lose.
Yeah, I agree. And like, if it pays off, it's just going to be a massive story. And again, like Williams, they did it with when they got Bruno Senna, name recognition. Kind of just a lot of people they've taken in over the years, just kind of as a risk. I mean, they nearly hired Mika Hakkinen back out of retirement in the late 2000s. Yeah. They were the front runner to get Kimi Räikkönen when he wanted to return, but then he ended up going to Lotus at the last minute. So, it's not like this isn't what Williams have done in the past. And it's to varying successes, of course. I mean, Maldonado, Senna obviously didn't turn out to be that good. So, yeah, I mean, look, again, you're right. What have they got to risk? I mean, Stroll looked like a bit of a dud at the beginning, but he sort of came around. So, yeah. Anyway, we need to do a qualifying lap, I feel, at some point, Dakota. I think that will help us talk this out. Anything else? We've talked about everything here today. We've gone for over half an hour in this segment. Want to talk about anything else? Or
No, I don't know anything to talk about, I think.
No. All right. Well, we'll see if we get you back on the rest of the year. If not, thank you for your contribution for 2017, and we'll get you on again next year. But again, we might speak to you before the end of the year. I don't know, but
all right, cool.
Always fun. Thank you, Dakota.
Sweet. See ya.
I've been bringing you some snippets of the Oz Network recently, bringing you some best bits from the week, and 3 little snippets here for you that you're probably not going to actually hear until 2018, because our Lost episodes, the ones that we're obviously recording on the TV show Lost, so far ahead are we at recording these. A lot of these episodes actually aren't getting released till the middle of 2018. So here we've got 3 little snippets for you to play. You're going to hear one in regards to Mr. Echo, a character on Lost, of course, and a radio show that he had at the time. We then have Noah reading a book. It's kind of funny. And something a little bit inappropriate to kind of end it out on a little bit of a spell here. So let's listen to these bits here. You should have a radio show.
I want to see a cop show.
Cop show.
Echo.
I want to see him having a radio show. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to 99.2 FM. My name is Mr. Echo.
Tonight I'll be with you for an hour. We will play all Nigerian hits.
Today we have a request from Claire. It is entitled My Baby. Claire, we hope you find your baby.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Here is one from Saeed. Saeed recently lost the woman he loved. This week at least.
This one goes out to Shannon. May you rest in peace. Hello, listeners. I have a confession. I killed 2 people on the other side of the island. But I am on a righteous path.
Coming up at 8:30, we bring you traffic. Currently at the moment, no boat seen for 3 minutes. Quite busy out there. Stay safe.
It is hot on this island.
And remember, this show proudly brought to you by Sawyer's. If you wish anything to get, go to Sawyer. He has it available.
We have celebrity gossip. Scott has been seen with Doug. Or is that Steve? I don't know. I wasn't here when he died.
And this week, we have prank call. Who will I call next on the coconut phone? This week's victim, it is Ana Lucia, who recently murdered someone accidentally. We pretend to be a police officer. Will she fall for it?
Hello, this is Anna.
Yes, hello. This is Sergeant Echo. I mean, Sergeant Johnson.
Hello, this is your former partner, Big Mike. Hello, Anna. Remember me? What is this? What is going on? People don't like me. Oh, she hung up. Next, we ring up Saeed and pretend to be Nadia, his long-lost lover, and tell her that she knows about Shannon.
We have so much.
Hello, Saeed. I am your long-lost lover, Nadia. Remember me? Now we have Hurley for a joke of the week.
Dude.
Joke of the week with Hurley. Dude.
We have some breaking news coming to you from the hatch. Apparently, we found some beards and some clothes. What does it mean to talk? Here is Locke, the man who knows everything. John. Hello, John. What do you feel this is about?
Our roaming reporter, Daniel Rousseau.
Hello, yes, hello, Mr. Ego. Bonjour.
Yes, I've been roaming. I don't join the camp, but I've been inspecting. I've been on the case. I didn't help with the cases.
We keep getting weird transmission coming in. Let's play this one. Yeah, hi, it's Boone. I want to be involved. Okay, no, we'll cut him off. He's not no longer.
Cut that. No. Now, rumor has it there's been an infection on the island. For our weekly medical advice, here's Dr. Shepard.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It's not an infection. Babies get sick.
And here's our live performance by Charlie. Oh, wait, no, we're not talking to Charlie. His contract has been cut.
Yes, he is not on a righteous path. In a church update, the first logs have been cut.
There's been rumor that I'm actually building a Bible, but it's actually a church.
It's a church. That is a false rumor. That is what we call rumor. That is all for me this week. Next week, more on the flourishing romance of Libby and Hurley. Will they get together? And will he remember?
And is there a pregnancy on the island? Maybe we'll find out next week.
Who could it be?
And speaking of which, here is Men at Work with Who Could It Be Now? We'll see you next week on Echo.
Take us out.
Who could it be now?
And remember, everyone, make your own kind of music.
Oh my god.
I mean, good night.
We have way too much time. This is why these episodes go for so long.
That's the Echo Radio, Island Radio show.
Hello.
I would listen. What does it say here? Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Is the novel. I'm just reading this book here.
Yep.
Sorry, I was just reading a book.
I was just halfway through the episode. Fuck the podcast. I'm going to read my book. I'm so bored of Ben.
We're professionals here on
Snow Dogs, the novelisation. Oh, the dogs are talking in this one. Alright, I'm just going to go watch another episode. Hang on. I'm just going to go watch what? Hang on a second.
I'm sorry, people listening for the dead air. I just got a bit distracted. I forgot that if I'm reading something, I have to read it out loud or not read it.
We're men. We can't do more than one thing at once. Alright?
I'm sorry, that was so unprofessional. I got a bit distracted. I feel like they may have done it.
No.
You know, they opened up to each other, then he's watching her sleep.
Well, she didn't open up to him in that way. Like, I mean, maybe a bit of hand action, but...
Hand job.
You know, a bit of touchy-feel, a bit of grind, but, you know, no.
I don't think I think probably just a bit of feely,
bit of
kissing
fingering.
and... I love how nonchalant.
And I'm not saying whether or not it was like who did the fingering.
Oh, for some reason, like, a hand job, yeah, that was fine. But then when you say, oh, a bit of fingering, it just becomes gross. Oh, yeah, a bit of touching, a bit of kissing. Oh, yeah, a bit of fingering. But yeah, it's totally happened.
Finger bang.
Poor Charlie.
Do you remember that South Park episode where they were that boy band and they were singing Finger Bang? I never got that. Finger bang bang, finger bang. I never understood that.
Well, when that came out, I probably was 10, and I definitely didn't get it. Why did my parents let me watch South Park?
Mine didn't. There's a reason why they never used to watch The Simpsons, but The Simpsons is so tame. Like, I remember we used to go around primary school calling each other dildos, and we didn't know what it meant. Like in South Park, Kitty, stop being such a dildo! And it's like, you know, oh, looks like a certain kitty will be coming home with mummy tonight. Like, I never got that line when I was like 12, but now it's hilarious.
I feel like we would be great social experiments for psychologists because you grew up not allowed to watch South Park when you were a kid, and I grew up being totally allowed to watch it when I probably shouldn't have.
And I'm the one dropping the lines about fingering, and you're the calm one. Funny. And, of course, you can always download the Oz Network. Head into the OzNetwork.net, subscribe on iTunes and everything along those lines, and you'll be able to find all those episodes as they come out. Get excited, everybody, because I get to press this button. It's that time of the week to play everybody's favorite game show. It's Forget the Lyrics! Here on the Brink on Edge Radio. Over to the studio. Forget the Lyrics. So bloody good. 3 again for you this week, and we're going to bring one to you from 2013, 2017, and 2012. Let's go back to 2013 first of all. Myself and Josh in a duet. Always a fun time. Let's hear myself and Josh singing to the classic song Centerfold. Yo! Popcorn! 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 In your tojo! Sitting on the couch, sitting with there, wanna eat some popcorn. My hands are filled with biscuits now and I don't know what to do. I put my foot in the bowl, get some in between my toes. Lift my toes up to my mouth and stick that popcorn in. Didn't realize just how flexible I really was. Deciding now to eat that popcorn cause I'm really pop. I like to eat popcorn with my toes because popcorn is so good with tittia on it. I like to eat the popcorn with my toes, tittia, yeah. Maybe I'll drink some Coke with my toes as well. Really wanna do this, really eat it now. I'm watching a movie, it's something about a cow. I realize now that Josh is next to me, he wants some popcorn too. I pass my foot over to him, he pushes his meal and says, go away you! I eat them all, I eat it all, and Josh is looking at me. He wants to sing about eat popcorn with my family. Go Josh!
I need to eat heaps of popcorn with my bare feet that look like hairy things with stubs on them. There's nothing on my feet that'll make me want to eat some more popcorn out of your bowl. That's right, Ben, not out of your bowl. No, I need some pop, 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 the pop, 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 to the pop, pop, to the pop, 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 pop, to the pop, 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 pop, to the pop, pop, pop. Yes, look at my feet. They're covered in butter and heaps of corn. But now I've got to the bottom of the bowl where you get those hard things that didn't pop well. But I'm going to eat them though because they taste really nice, even if I get them stuck in my toe jam. But guess what now I'm going to do right now? I'm going to think about you eating your popcorn with your feet. That's right. Eating your popcorn with your feet. But here's where we go. Going to get to the bottom of the bowl. With my feet, it's going to get to the bottom of the bowl. I want to eat popcorn with my feet that look like hobbits. I'm going to eat my popcorn without my hands, without my elbows, without my knees, without my shins. I'm going to eat them with my feet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pop, pop, to the pop, 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 to the pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. Always a good time. And why not have a solo from each of us as well? 2017, that's this year. Obviously on High Noon when we brought Forget the Lyrics back, I had a bit of a crack singing to some Katy Perry with Chained to the Rhythm. Let's see how that went. Snakes and ladders. It's a game that nobody really plays anymore. But Dakoda told me to sing about it on Forget the Lyrics. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Gonna sing about it and not about cows. It's a fun game. If only I had friends to play it with. could roll the dice and go on the board. He's my friend Frank. He's pretty good at snakes and ladders. He's really good at these board games. But Frank doesn't really exist anymore. He left me. Got no friends when I'm playing my games. Dance on snakes and ladders. Oops, I just sang the correct lyrics. That's not what I meant to do. Who cares? Hey, snakes and ladders. Playing with myself doesn't really work because it's a board game that you play with lots of friends. A friend called Ben and one called Glenn. Hey, they don't really exist. I wake up and kind of give myself a fist in the head because I'm not dead. That's because I've got no friends in my head, and that's why we play snakes and ladders. Are we really in 2017 without friends to come and play snakes and ladders? That's really sad. I mean, you could totally just go online and play PlayStation, and maybe they have that on the games there, I don't know. But that's not what I have to sing about. Forget the lyrics. Screw it, I'm gonna sing about PlayStation because I'm sure Snakes and Ladders is on there. Hey, maybe it's not, but it should be because it's really actually kind of a cool game. I haven't played it in a long time. Maybe if you've got it with your dim sims, bring it in because it's high noon at 12. It's really 1:43, but I don't really care. Want to play Snakes and Ladders right now. I'm really thinking about it with the ladders and the snakes because it's really a good game. It's actually, seriously, Dakota, it's a good damn game, and we really should play it more on the show. That's a segment we can do in the future. We can play Snakes and Ladders. Just end the damn thing, Ben. Like, just, no. I'm not happy.
You're not happy?
Yeah, I liked it. And Josh also had a solo effort back in 2012 when he sang the iconic song, Come Fly With Me. Let's listen to this.
You should hoon with me, yes, hoon with me, it's a great game. We could play some Gaelic football too in a Holden Ute, yes, it's true. Yes, hoon with me today. Come hoon with me, let's hoon in Rugby. In Rosny there's a street down there where we could throw a ball to someone. Come hoon with me, let's hoon into you. When I get you in there, there will be Gaelic football. Nothing like what we know. Yes, when we in there, we will be playing you at Gaelic football because there isn't anything else to do. It's hooning. What else do I say? I love to hoon in a ute that is built for Ben, Josh, and Sam and Stu. It's hooning time. It's hooning Gaelic football, yes. Let's hoon, let's hoon, let's hoon, let's hoon, let's hoon.
I have no idea why none of us became singers. Let's be honest, we really should be selling records and kicking ass out there, but sadly, we're not really at the moment. Time to close it all out. Episode 55, done and dusted. We will have one new episode for you before we end it out for 2017. So December 18 next week, we'll have one new more episode for you. But then December 25th, Christmas Day, we will bring you our best of the year. So get excited for that. Always a fun time to bring you the best bits of a fantastic year that we've had here for you, and had a lot of fun bringing you these episodes, of course, across the year. Many highlights, many lowlights, and everything else in between is what we will bring you on Christmas Day. Our Christmas gift to you. In the meantime, remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and everything else in between. Leave us some feedback on those. It'd be much appreciated, and we hope that you're obviously enjoying listening to us, and we hope you have a fantastic Star Wars week as well. Until we next speak again, my name is Ben. Keep sucking those oranges, Hobart, and good night.